video is going to be my July TBR. I say this every month, but I cannot believe we're in the month of July already. If this looks a little bit empty, there is one book that I'm going to be talking about that I am going to 100% read this month. I'm also going to tell you guys what I'm in the middle of, and I'm going to tell you guys how well I did on sticking to my TBR for the month of June, because we are still in the month of June right now. But I'm just going to pull up my July TBR list, because you guys know I always make a list for myself of like what potential books I want to read every month, including new releases. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the prompt jar, and I'm going to pick 4 prompts from the jar. And then for the other like 4 prompts, because I usually pick like 6 to 8 prompts, I want to, well, actually it's not for prompts. It's just to use the Dungeons and Dragons dice that I have. What I'm going to do is just count how many books are on the cart, and I'm going to roll the dice and see what we land on. You know, it's just going to be numbered like 1 through whatever. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 26. I believe there's 27 numbers on the dice. Maybe there's only 20. I thought there was more than that. Okay, well, we'll see what gets picked. It's fine. Like, it's still 1 through 20. It's not a big deal. Okay, so we're going to start by picking the prompts. I don't know why I keep on closing my July TBR note. So I just wanted to say the books that I'm 100% going to be reading, because I'm in the middle of this series right now. I just finished book 1 last night, and I'm absolutely obsessed, and that is the Ember and the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir. So I started the second book today, which is A Torch Against the Night, but we're definitely going to be reading books 3 and 4 in the month of July, because I know I'm not going to be able to finish the whole series in the month of June, because it's June 27th right now. So we're going to be reading A Reaper at the Gates. Why is this bothering me? I just want to angle it a little bit more so I don't have to go like this. A Reaper at the Gates is the 3rd book, and then A Sky Beyond the Storm is the 4th book. So we're 100% going to be finishing this series pretty soon, actually. I'm hoping to finish it by July 4th, because there's another book I want to read on July 4th. And then the other one we're 100% going to be reading this month is the prequel, which is Air. I actually just picked this up yesterday because I'm that in love with the series already that I know I'm going to want to read the prequel as well. So I picked this up at the Silent Book Club yesterday event that they had at my Barnes. So I was like, it's a no-brainer. I knew I wanted to get this. So we're definitely going to be reading that. And then the only other 2, so you guys, you're going to be proud of me, but I have been attempting to read this book on my Kindle for the past week, and I actually haven't been reading on my Kindle too much. I've been reading a lot more of my physical TBR this month, so I have a lot less Kindle reads in the month of June as compared to May, because May I read so many Kindle books because I was reading on my Libby app a lot. Well, reading a lot of library books. But I did actually start the audiobook of Billy Summers by Stephen King today. And I think I got a decent amount in. Well, like not that far, maybe like 10% or so. But I'm really, really, really liking it. So I might just finish the entire thing via audio, or I'll get like a decent amount into it, and then I'll just probably most likely finish the physical book. So we pretty much got to every single book on my TBR in the month of June, besides On Wings and Blood, and The Bond That Burns is the 1st and 2nd book in the Bloodwing Academy series by Briar Bolin, not the Briar Bolin series. She's the author. But I did not read those because the 3rd book ended up not coming out this month because it just got traditionally published. So that ended up pushing back the release for the 3rd book, and now that one is not going to be releasing until March of 2026. And basically the same thing happened to the 2nd book in the Direbound series. I don't know why I can't remember the name of the actual series at the current moment. I'm tired, y'all, okay? I just got home like 20 minutes ago. My back is actually killing me, but we're gonna move on from that. So those are the only two books on my June TBR that my June TBR that I didn't get to. So that's actually great because the Ember in the Ashes series and Billy Summers were both on my TBR in June, and I'm currently reading both of them. So I'm pretty proud of myself. And then the only other book that is going to be a required read for me this month is that I actually joined another book club last month. But the book that they picked to read this month was a book that I already read, which was Summer in the City by Alex Astor, and it's a Facebook book club. So I feel like Facebook book clubs are just a little bit easier to keep track of. You know, you have a group admin, and that person just like posts and they ask like, you know, add books for the July picks. Just like the only thing that she said was that she didn't want to pick another romance. So she said like suggest other books that aren't romance. And I'm like, that makes sense because we all just read, well, I had already read it back in March. And I ended up voting for that book in June just so I could get everybody to read it in the book club, because I'm like, I think two out of the 3 books that were on the poll to read in June I had read already, which was Summer in the City and Silver Elite. And the other book, I'm not sure if I really had any interest in reading it, but it doesn't matter. It ended up not getting picked, obviously. But she did ask us to post our picks for July, and she said list a few suggestions that you guys would think about reading for July, and I listed this book and it ended up getting picked. And she actually ended up picking 2 books because I think she was trying to give people the option of whether or not they wanted to read one or the other, because sometimes there's like certain genres that just people don't read. Like the other book was The Silent Patient, which I already read, by Alex Michaelides. So I already read that. But this was the one that I put on the suggestions, and it ended up getting picked. And I was like, the same thing happened when Direbound got picked for my other book club that just ended up not working out. But for this book club, we are going to be reading The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And this worked out so well for me because I was going to put this on my July TBR, but also that's why I suggested it for the July book club pick, because I wanted to read it in July. But also, this is on my 25 and 2025 list, and so is Billy Summers, and so is An Ember in the Ashes. So since I already read book 1, I literally have it right next to me. I already read 1 this month, and then I'm going to be hopefully finishing Billy Summers, and then this will be number 3. So that makes up for not reading any 25 and 2025 books in May, because I'm already going to be reading 3 more. So those are all the required books that I'm going to read. And the only other 2, well, actually 3 that I have, I'm going to try and infiltrate that into the prompts that we pick. Like if we pick certain prompts, then I'm going to use those books as the ones to fulfill the prompts. I am rambling so much. I'm sorry. I just think while I'm talking. So, you know, that's what everybody does, obviously. Because if we didn't, then just word vomit would come out, or like nothing. So I have 2 arcs that I want to read, because they both come out, I believe, on the same day in July. I believe it's the 14th or the 15th, but I'll just clarify that if they end up getting picked. But I'm still going to read them regardless, even if they don't match a prompt. But those are the only other 2 books that I'm required to read, or that I want to read before they come out. And then there is another buddy read that I'm going to be doing with Felicia, and it's starting another series. But I'm hoping to pick one of the prompts for that first book in the series, because one of the prompts would work out perfectly. So without further ado, let's pick some prompts. So let's go ahead and shake up the jar. I'm trying to get this jar down to be like pretty much totally empty, because like we've been doing really, really good with emptying this jar since, you know, I started doing this on my channel. All right, let's pick this one. Okay, so we got a tan one, and we have Goddess Mythology Fantasy. I think air might be goddess mythology? I'm not really sure. I don't know if I have anything on my July list that would fulfill this prompt. Oh, wait. Actually, maybe a couple of my new releases would. I think I'm going to keep this prompt out because I think I would have to look up a couple of books to see whether or not this fulfills the prompt, but I want to see if I can fulfill that one. That's not a bad prompt to choose because I do have quite a few fantasy books on my TBR for July. So I'm going to look them up off camera and then I'll come back and see which one I'm going to pick. So, but I do think I want to fulfill that prompt. We're not just going to throw it back in the jar. All right, let's pick another one. But I think most of those are either ones that aren't out yet or one that's on my Libby app that by the time I actually am able to borrow it, because it's a very popular book right now, then I'm going to see if, all right, we're going to touch this one or pick this one because this is the first one my finger touched. Okay, sports romance. Do I have any sports romances on my TBR? I don't think so. Yeah, I pick this prompt every time. Well, hold the phone. Hold the phone. 'Cause this one might work. Sorry. Hold on. Why can I type? Lord Jesus. I think this might be a stretch, but I think I'm going to pick it for this prompt because I don't want to keep on picking this prompt and not fulfilling it. I know there's plenty of other books that probably could fulfill this prompt. Or maybe, you know what? I think we're going to keep this out of the jar and see if I want to pick it again. But the only book that I would want to fulfill this prompt that is on the TBR cart, because I want to pick books that are off the TBR cart, because most of the sports romances that I want to read are all on Kindle Unlimited, so I don't usually pick up the physical book then if I find it on Kindle Unlimited. But the only other one I would think about fulfilling that prompt with is Carrie Soto Is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I know this is more general literary fiction, but it does have a romantic relationship subplot. So I was thinking like I probably could pick this, but again, I don't want to make it a stretch. We're going to put it up here for now, but we're also going to see if like it might get picked for another prompt or whatever. We'll see. But I'm going to keep it up here just potentially to fulfill this prompt, and also it's yellow, so it does match the book like perfectly. Like, oh my god, that's like, that shouldn't be a reason why I want to pick it. I also just really want to read it in July, so that's also a reason. So we're going to try and pick something else. Why does that bend like literally so much? Like, it's like sticking out like crazy. All right, let's try and pick another prompt. Can we actually pick one that we can do or try to fulfill, or actually fulfills the prompt a lot better? So let's go ahead and see if we can pick something else. Okay. I don't really have to close my eyes. I'm not going to look. All right, we'll close my eyes. Why the fuck not? Okay. Let's try and pick something from here. Okay, let's grab this one. We got a blue one. Again, the colors do not mean anything. Okay. Friend's recommendation. This actually works perfectly for one of the books I want to read this month anyway. So even though this is a book club pick, my friend Felicia, which I could pick In 5 Years as a friend's recommendation, because again, we're already going to be reading this book. So you know what? I think I'm going to be picking this one because this actually was on my TBR last month. We're still in the month of June. But we're picking for July's TBR. So we're talking about the next month's TBR anyway. So my book bestie Felicia, like I said, we do a lot of buddy reads together, but this book is on my Kindle because it's on Kindle Unlimited. And I actually picked up the original book, but then I saw it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I just returned it. So I'm just going to put this one as my friend's recommendation prompt, and that is In 5 Years by Rebecca Surley. You can barely see that. Why is that so blurry? Hold on. Hold the phone. Sorry, I had to clean the screen off a little bit. There's still a lot of glare, though, so I'm just going to tell you about it, or I don't know why there's so much freaking glare today. There we go. I was going to read it this month, but I think I'm just going to read it this month. I'm going to read it next month because I ended up reading One Italian Summer by Rebecca Surley over in 5 years. But Felicia keeps on pushing me to read this book, and I really do want to because I love Rebecca Surley's books. So that's just going to be my friend's recommendation pick for the month of July. I'm almost said June again. Okay, that works out perfectly. So let's see if we can pick at least one more book off the cart, and then we're going to see if one of the new releases fulfill the prompt. But I'm also going to fulfill the first prompt. I'm going to see if I want to pick, like, maybe a different prompt. Can I close this, for fuck's sake? Oh my god, dude. Ow. I, like, hurt my thumb. Okay. Ouch. I really hurt my thumb. That really hurt. Owies. Dumbass. Okay. Let's go ahead and pick another prompt. Let's see. What are we going to pick? Okay, let's pick one from here. Okay, we got a pink one. Perfect. Perfect. Witches. And I already know which one we are going to pick for this one because it is one of the arcs that I want to read. Again, it's not a physical book, but that's okay as long as we can pick books that are fulfilling these prompts that I want to read in the month that they're either coming out, or I just want to read, you know, what I'm feeling. So this is the book we are going to pick for this, and that is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. That one doesn't really have as much glare, but still. The cover's so cute, I promise. I don't know why. There's literally so much glare, you can barely see it. But I actually received the arc of this like a week or two ago, and I was very excited to read this. It comes out July 15th. So I think it comes out literally the day after the other arc that I want to read. But I got that other arc like months ago, but I wanted to read it like when it was coming out, like closer to when it was coming out, I mean. But this one sounds so cute, and I actually did start this book a couple of days ago. I've just been reading it occasionally on my Kindle, and so far it's so cute, but I'm not going to finish it until July, and I'm really not going to stick with it until July. So yeah, we got that one. Let's draw one more prompt because I'm not really sure about the sports romance one, and I'm not really sure about the mythology goddess fantasy one. So, but also if the numbers don't work for me, I'm just going to keep on drawing prompts because sometimes the number way ends up picking books that I really don't want to read, and I know, like, because they're on our TBR cards, we should be reading them. But it's just, like, it depends on what you're in the mood for. And sometimes, like, when ooh, okay. This is actually a really interesting one because then we have to use the numbers anyway. And I've been wanting to draw this prompt since I made this jar. And now this is going to be so much fun. I'm just going to do it as listing the numbers. But we got spinner wheel pick. This is going to be really fun. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25. I'm not going to add Carrie Soto as back. But it always all depends, like, what we're in the mood for sometimes. Or the books we're, like, more excited to read sooner rather than later. So, yeah. Why does this say text? I want to input numbers. Spinner wheel. Number picker wheel. There we go. Okay, so we got 1 to 25. I freaking hate these stupid ads when you try to pick, do this. Okay, let's go ahead and spin the wheel. It's pretty much starting on 1. And let's go ahead and see what number it lands on. I think we got 8 or 9. We got 7. That shows how freaking blind I am. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we're not doing that. We're gonna spin again. All right, we're not reading The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I mean, her books are very high on my TBR right now. I didn't show you guys it's spinning, but we're not picking Great Alone because I have a specific order in the way I want to read Kristen Hanna's books. Okay, we picked number 22. Let's see if that's a better pick. I'm hoping it's one of... Oh, I actually think I know which one it is. And it's exactly a book that I want to read this month. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22! Yay! I want to read this book in July, and that's awesome. So we got Summer Reading by Jen McKinley. Awesome! I just bought this book like a week or two ago, and I knew 100% I wanted to read this book in July because they keep on featuring it on, why do I keep on closing my phone? Like, Caitlin, stop doing that. Like, that's actually, I'm annoying myself doing that. But, they keep on featuring this book on one of the front tables at my Barnes & Noble, and if you guys didn't know, I just read my first book from this author called Love at First Book by Jen McKinley. It's literally like right on my romance shelf, like literally right behind the cart. It's that green book right there. I loved it. I thought it was so cute. This is technically the first book in the series, but I think you can read them in whatever order you want. So I'm really, really excited to read this because that is so awesome that it ended up working out, that it ended up being that number just because I spun the wheel again. But Love at First Book was so cute that I wanted to read more from this author. And also, so this is going on the cart. Yay, that's so awesome. Like 2 really summery books. That's great. I really, really like that. I approve. Okay, so let's see. I think we're going to put this one aside. We're going to put this one back on the cart. I'm not going to put it right next to Malibu Rising. I'm going to put it like right here. See if it might get picked later. But like, I feel like these prompts are already not the greatest. And I don't know why this fell. Okay, we're just going to do this because that's what I usually have to do if I only have one book up there. All right, let's pick another prompt. Because, you know, we did pick Friend's recommendation, Witches, and Goddess Mythology. Maybe that is enough because that's 4 prompts. All right, maybe we shouldn't pick another prompt. Let me see which one fulfills Goddess Mythology Fantasy, and then we'll go ahead and pick with the dice. So hold on. So I did find a book that I'm going to read in July anyway because it's the last book in a trilogy, and it comes out in July. And that is 3 Shattered Souls by May Corlin. You're not going to see the image. I'll pull it up in a second. And this one says that there are fates and triple goddesses in the book. And it says the fates is these 3 goddesses in Greek mythology control the thread of life, and their actions could be interpreted as shattering or ending a life. I didn't even know the fates were going to be in this book. That's actually really cool. I know who the fates are, but I didn't think that was going to be tied to 3 Shattered Souls because it's not really Greek mythology. It's more so like Korean epic fantasy / romance. But honestly, the second book was not very good. But also, I do want to finish the series because I'm intrigued enough to finish it because Lily, it also comes out July 15th. So it comes out on the same day, as A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. So that is the cover. And yeah, we're just going to use that to fulfill that prompt. We're not going to use the sports romance one. So we got Goddess Mythology and what is the other one? Friend's recommendation, Witches, and all right, so we're going to go with some more prompts. Let's just shake up the jar and see what we got because, like, I don't know. But, you know, all of these books that are next to me are going to be going on the TBR for this month. Okay, let's go ahead and close my eyes, and we're going to pick this one here and see what we got. Sometimes I can get like just really low energy if it's like prompts that I don't want to do. Oh. This is now the third time we've drawn this prompt, and every single time we have not fulfilled it. But I might just make Billy Summers this prompt again. But I literally, well, technically I did fulfill the thriller prompts back in May. Because we ended up picking those back in May, and then I ended up fulfilling that prompt with the Frida McFadden book. I mean, I don't think there's any other ones that could fulfill this prompt. But I feel like that would be kind of cheating because I already know I'm going to read this book. And I've already tried to fulfill this prompt with this book before, and I didn't. So I think that would be kind of cheating. All right, let's not waste your time, you know? Because, like, I literally just never shut up. Like, ever. All right, let's try and pick a different one. We're not going to reshuffle because I just don't feel like it. We're just going to pick another prompt. Okay, we got period pick. I don't want to do that either. Let's pick another prompt. Vampires. This was the one that I was going to use for, I mean, we do have one. It's supposed to be vampires, but these are all books I just don't want to fucking read right now. Does this one have vampires in it? I literally just picked this up yesterday. No, it has demons in it, though. I really want to read this. It sounds so cool. I feel like it's called Girl, Serpent, and Thorn. I've never heard anybody talk about it, and I literally just picked it up because it was on the front of the register. Like, sometimes they put a couple of books up front to, like, you know, try and get more people to, like, read those books. Alright, let's try. I'm sorry, this TBR fucking video has been kind of a fail. Alright, let's go ahead and pick another prompt. But it's like, it's crazy how we don't want to fulfill prompts that we put in the fucking jar ourselves, but sometimes you kind of forget that. No, I'm not doing that either. Oh my god, can we get a prompt that I actually want to do? Free pick. Okay, we can do this, obviously. Alright, so pick whatever I want. We're going to pick this because I really want to read this in July. So we're just going to pick Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Wow, that was easy. Yay! Okay, so we got that. I think we're going to probably put the other two back. But let's go ahead and pick one more prompt. And then we're just going to tell you guys what's on my TBR. Because, again, I'm already adding all these other books that I'm either carrying over from last month, or it's a book club pick, or it's finishing or reading a prequel and a series that I'm already reading. So it's not like it's not going to be full. But there wasn't really that many books on the cart that I was going to read in July. There was only like one other book I really want. Oh my god, Jesus. My stupid Siri went off. There was only like one other one that I really wanted to read in the month of July that's on the cart. I don't even know if we're going to be able to fulfill, we're going to be able to use one of the prompts to fulfill it. I mean, it get picked for one of these prompts. I don't know what I'm saying. I am tired as hell, okay? It's not like I wasn't out doing things today, so I'm just dead tired. All right. So let's see. We got two, so let's see if one is better than the other. We got Angels, which that would have been for Angel Mage, but I don't want to do that right now. Book of the month. I mean, we could put one of them. I really just don't even feel like doing this anymore. Like, I'm kind of annoyed. I'm just so freaking tired of picking, like, the same damn prompts. Okay. Well, then that... That's a sign that obviously that means that I have to do a refresher of my jar. All right, we're just going to put these up here because obviously we're reading those. And then we're also obviously going to be reading these as well. I mean, duh. So it's not like we're not going to be reading these books in the month of July. So we're just going to put all of these up here because we know these are all getting read. So it doesn't look so sad now. Because these are just the books I really want to read. So, yeah. Let's pick one more, okay? And if it doesn't work, we're just going to tell you guys what my TBR is because, I don't know. Author everybody loves. I can't believe I still haven't fulfilled this damn prompt yet. And that actually could have been for Carrie Soto is Back because a lot of people love Carrie Soto's book. I mean, Carrie Soto's books. Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. But we already picked Carrie Soto is Back. Okay. Maybe let's go back to the, excuse me, rolling the dice thing. And then we're just going to give up. I'm sorry. I'm losing momentum because I'm really tired. Let's roll one more time. What did I even take out of the jar? Oh, these are the ones that... Okay, actually, we got witches. We got goddess mythology. We got friend's recommendation. And then we got two other ones. So that's not bad. You know what? Let's pick one more. Let's just pick one more. So we'll pick 6. There is one that I'm hoping for, but I just have not picked it. Out of every time that I've done this, I have not picked this freaking prompt. Okay, let's see. Let's pick this one, I guess. It's probably not the one. Yeah, no. All right, let's pick another one. That one I already picked. So, like... Okay, we got 2. Let's see if we got something that I can work with. Nope, we already picked that. New York Times bestseller. I've picked this, I've literally put this back in the jar like 3 times, and this is like probably the most recurring prompt that I have. Why is this not working out for me right now? Okay, YA mystery. I'm sorry, you guys. This is like actually horrible right now. I mean, Secrets So Deep could be considered a YA mystery, right? I also need to read today. I really haven't read that much today. Yes, okay. So we could do Secrets So Deep for this. So why don't we do that? Because I've been wanting to read this book anyway. So I think this would be a good choice for this. So I think then that means that we picked 6 prompts. And this was already picked for the wheel. I mean the dice. Maybe we'll just do the wheel. Let's do that, because, like, honestly, these prompts are, like, annoying me. So we could do the wheel and see if we get maybe 2 more books from the TBR cart. And if I don't like either one, then we're done picking. We're just going to tell you guys the rest of the books on the TBR. I think I do need to refresh this jar. Let me put this back, too. Okay, let's see. We're not going to add the ones that are in the back because I can't be bothered. Okay. It should have been open already, but of course it isn't. I'm sorry, you guys. This is what happens when you film your TBR when you don't sleep. Picker wheel. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. How many books are on here now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 22. Okay, 1 to 22. Let's just do this for funsies, I guess. Okay, let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Sorry about the ad. Okay, we got number 17. Yeah, okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right, we're not doing this. We're not. We're just not. I don't want to read any of these books, so I'm just fucking pissed off. All right, so we're just going to tell you guys the rest of the books on my TBR because I think I've just been becoming more of a mood reader lately, that it's like if I'm not feeling what the TBR jar picks, I'm just not going to fucking read it. So, okay. So, like I said, besides all the required reads, there's one more that I am requiring myself to read because it is an arc that comes out on, I believe, yeah, all 3 of these books come out July 15th, which is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. This book and 3 Shattered Souls all come out on the same day. So I don't know why July 15th is such a popular date. But Made for Each Other by Lynn Painter comes out July 15th. So I'm definitely reading this before it comes out. I'm very excited for this one because I actually enjoyed the last Lynn Painter book that I read was not one of her YA books. It was actually an adult one. I'm not reading the synopsises for any of these because I just have no energy to right now. So we're going to be reading that one. And then the only other one that is more so required for me to read, because it's a buddy read with my girl Felicia, is the first book in the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver, which is called Flawless. As you guys know, I have not read anything by Elsie Silver. I tried to read Wild Love last summer, and I just wasn't really feeling it that much. I got like 70 pages into it. But the good thing about Elsie Silver's books is that mostly all of them are on Kindle Unlimited. So if I end up not really liking them, like I only really DNF if it's on Kindle Unlimited or if it's like a Libby loan. Because, like, for physical books, unless, like, I hated the first book in a series or, like, I've heard, like, not the greatest things about the books, and I will just declutter them. Or if I know they're on Kindle Unlimited and it's too late for me or to return them, or I've had them for too long in order to return them, I'll just give them away. So, okay. So then we do have a couple new releases to talk about. But literally the only other 3 or 4 books that were on my TBR for this month besides new releases is that I really want to read Somewhere in the Deep by Tanvi Berwa. This one was just calling my name for the summertime, and I really do want to read this. So I think Secrets So Deep and Somewhere in the Deep, I just realized that they both have deep in the title. I'm just really feeling like oceanic kind of vibes books right now. So I kind of want to read more of those because, you know, it is the summertime. So, you know, you mostly think about the beach and the summertime and the ocean and the water. So I feel like that's why I'm kind of in the mood to read these books right now. So I really want to read that one. And then there's 3 books on my Kindle that I would like to read. So the first one, I know I want to read this in July because I put it off for July 4th last year, but now I really want to read it for this year. And I can't believe I haven't read this book. As being a reader, I'm really surprised that I haven't read this book yet, and that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I almost screwed up that name. And this is like a very famous like gay romance. And I really, really want to read it. So we're going to read it on July 4th. So I'm hoping that's when I'll be finished with the Ember and the Ashes series so I can just read this book. So I'm very excited for it. The other one, I'm waiting for it on Libby. I'm not sure if this is exactly going to come in July because I think there is an extremely long waiting list for this book. Because it's one of the most popular books right now. It still says 4 weeks. Even though I'm 5th in line, it says 4 weeks. So I don't know if it might not come through to the end of July. Then I might just save it for August. Because I feel like I'm going to be really in the mood to read it anyway then. But the other one that I really do want to read in July is The Wind Weaver by Julie Johnston. Again, this book has been getting a lot of hype and a lot of people want to read it. So that's why, like, it's a little bit impossible to be able to borrow from the library right now. But I've been hearing nothing but great things about it. So I really do want to read that. But hey, if we don't end up reading it, then we're just going to end up reading Secrets So Deep, which actually really makes me happy because, again, I really want to read that book in July as well. I just simply took it off because I didn't think I was going to have time to read all of these books, but now I feel like it's not going to be that hard to read these. If The Wind Weaver doesn't come through, then I'll just read that book. And then the last two, the other one is actually on my TBR cart, and this one's just a potential, but I might start this at the end of July anyway because I have the second book as well. But quite a few people have been reading Daughter of the Moon Goddess recently by Sue Lynn Tan, and the other book I have over there, I don't have it on the TBR card obviously because I obviously need to read the first book first. I've seen some mixed reviews about it, but overall positive. And I've just been really wanting to read this in like the spring and summer. And also I've been kind of feeling more fantasy. I mean, obviously we're going to read some romance in the summertime, but also like I feel like I'm kind of back in my fantasy era after reading An Ember in the Ashes. So the second book, it's the Celestial Kingdom duology, and the second one is called Heart of the Sun Warrior. So I'm going to add this one as well. If I don't end up getting to these, it's not the end of the world because I might just add it to my August TBR then. But for now, we're going to put it on this TBR as well. So that is pretty much all the physical books on here that I want to read. I do have one more book on my Kindle, and then we'll just talk about the new releases, and then we'll finally be done. Actually, wait, I'm lying. We have two other books on Kindle Unlimited that I do want to read. This one's been on my TBR for quite a while, so I really do want to get to this book in July because, as you guys know, I've been trying to work on my Catherine Center backlist, and I've had this book downloaded on my Kindle for quite a while, and that is The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I really do want to read this in the summer, and also because it has like the flowers on the bottom, but I've read like 6 books by Miss Catherine Center, and I love her books, so I want to add that. It's also another friend rec by Felicia. So I might also choose that as my friend rec, but also In 5 Years is on Kindle Unlimited. So like it doesn't really matter which one I choose. And then this one is also on Kindle Unlimited. I don't really have that many Libby loans this month. And this one is actually going to be my first Megan Quinn book. And this is a new release that came out in June as well, but I really want to read it in July because it's like the dead of summer, and it literally summer's in the title. And it's called Till Summer Do Us Part. You still cannot see for the life of you. Oh, there we go. Why was that so bright before? And this one literally just came out June 3rd, so not that long ago. So I really want to read that. I've heard really good things about it, and even people that didn't like her Christmas release really liked this book. So that's why I'm just really intrigued to read it. And I think that would be a good mood read for me to read at like any point I want to in the month. So now that's like the whole TBR for July, but then there's also a couple new releases that I want to read. We already talked about Made for Each Other and A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. We also have a new Holly Jackson book coming out, and you guys know that Holly Jackson is one of my favorite thriller authors because I feel like one person that could potentially have finally a 5-star adult thriller for me would be Miss Holly Jackson. So her new thriller called Not Quite Dead Yet comes out July 22nd. We're 100% reading this. I love her books. And this is her first adult thriller, so I'm actually very, very excited for this book. And then the other one we're 100,000% reading in July. This is probably my most anticipated release for July. I cannot wait for this book. It is the second book in the Fear the Flames series, and it's called Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling. Cannot wait for this book, and it comes out July 29th, 2025. So it comes out towards the end of the month, so I should have plenty of time to read all of or most of the books up here on the cart. I mean, definitely these 3 and Night Circus and Summer Reading. But the other ones we'll see what we get to, and then hopefully we'll be done with Billy Summers as well. But I'm so excited for this book. So that one I'm definitely reading. And then Three Shattered Souls I'm going to be reading as well because it's for one of the prompts, but also like I just want to finish that series as well. And then those are really the only new releases I'm excited for. I will tell you guys about the other ones. This one I might potentially read as well because it's getting quite a lot of buzz before it's come out. And that is the first book in the Arcana Academy series. I haven't added it to my want to read yet, which I want to. So I just added it right now. It comes out July 22nd, and it's called Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. Elise Kova. I've been hearing a lot about it, and a lot of people want to read it. So I'm thinking about potentially reading that in July. If I don't, it's not the end of the world because I might end up reading Wind Weaver over this book, which is totally fine because I really want to read that book. And then Glorious Rivals, which is the second book in the Grandest Game duology. I might not even read it. I'm not really sure because the first book, really, I did not like it. I gave it like a 2 stars. That book was really not that good. I much rather read the Inheritance Game series. I feel like this series just like needs to die at this point. I feel like it's kind of just overkill. But the second book is called Glorious Rivals, and this one comes out July 29th as well. But I'm going to be reading Wrath of the Dragons. Like, I don't really care about reading anything else that day, so I might not end up reading that. I just feel like it's gotten, like, too YA for me, you know? Like, there's certain, like, YA books, like Secrets So Deep and Somewhere in the Deep and Daughter of the Moon Goddess are, like, ones that I'm more interested as, like, being an older adult, which I'm, like, 36 years old, that I would be more interested in reading than that second book. And then there's 2 other new releases, and then I think I am done because I just don't want to film anymore. And then I have 2 audiobooks that are on my list as well. Why did I take this one off? Excuse me. Okay. The other 2 is Jessa Hastings is actually coming out with a book out of nowhere again, and she is coming out with a book in July. I'm not sure if I'm going to be reading this. Depends on what reviews I see on this book. This one also comes out July 15th, so fucking $4 on my July releases come out July 15th, and that is Time of Your Life. Again, I'm not reading any of the synopsises. I'm just telling you guys about these books. You can look them up anywhere on the internet. And then the last one, because like The Conditions of Will actually wasn't even on my TBR for the month of May, but I still ended up reading it and I still really liked it. So I really do love her books, but I don't have to 100% essentially read that. But it is on Kindle Unlimited, so I could read it whenever I want to. And then the last new release that I'm going to tell you guys about, I haven't even read this series yet, but I really do want to at some point. Just the books are so long. But again, all the books are available on Kindle Unlimited. So I just wanted to tell you guys that the 4th book in this series is coming out in July. And it's called City of Smoke and Brimstone. I guess I have to hold it over here again, by Kayla Edwards. And this is the 4th book in the City of Smoke, the House of Devils series. And I think I said it's coming out July 8th. So those are all the new releases that I put on my list, but the only ones that I'm going to be reading is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, Not Quite Dead Yet, Wrath of the Dragons, Three Shattered Souls, and Made for Each Other. Those are the 5 that I really do want to read. So not too crazy with new releases. And then the only other books are 2 audiobooks that I want to listen to. I'm hoping to get the Libby loan of the ebook because I already have the audiobook on a hold. It actually came through like last week, but I wasn't ready to listen to it yet. But I'm so excited to get to the second book in this series, and it's called No One Was Supposed to Die at This Wedding by Catherine Mack. If you guys know, I read one I know every time I go on vacation, somebody dies. I read that earlier this month and I loved it. So I'm really excited to read the second book. And this one just came out in May. I don't know why I thought it came out in June. It came out May 13th. So it's a pretty recent, and also it's a 2025 release as well. And the last book that I want to, well, read / listen to, I might also borrow the ebook of this as well. But this is the fourth book in the Thursday Murder Club series. I've just been reading these gradually throughout the year. But this is the last book that I need to read before the fifth book comes out in September. But also the Thursday Murder Club movie comes out on Netflix in August. So if I'm all caught up with the series by that point, I will be very happy. So the fourth book is called The Last Devil to Die. And I think I'm just going to listen to it entirely via audio because I love the audiobook narrator of this book. So yeah, that's it. We're going to stop talking, but that is my entire TBR for the month of July. I'm sorry if this was all over the place, but I just ended up picking these books like kind of randomly. But at least we ended up sticking with Secrets So Deep. And hey, let's keep Desperate Measures on here because I might be in the mood to read it. And it's not that long of a book. And then it'll finally get my friend off my back reading a Katie Robert book. So I think that would be good. So I think we have some really good options. Again, I'm not reading the synopsises for any of these. Okay, so I just wanted to cut myself off after that TBR fail video, but I just wanted to come in really quick before I have another clip after this and say that I forgot to mention my buddy read had changed for me and my friend's pick that what we want to read in July, which today is July 1st, by the way, so I'm hoping to get my TBR video up today. So we're not going to be reading the Chestnut Springs series together. I think I'm just going to start that whenever I want this month, or I might just start it next month. I'm not sure yet, but I do want to hopefully read the first two books before August. But at least the first book this month. But it is a series that I do want to read in the summertime because I think I need some yeehaw cowboy romance in my life right now. And also, I still haven't read any Elsie Silver, so. So anyway, Felicia mentioned this book, like, last week to me when I saw her at the Silent Book Club. She's, like, my book bestie. We go to the barns near me, like, all the time. And we did 2 buddy reads last month. We did Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey and The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. But then Felicia mentioned this book, and I was like, this book sounds so good, because after, I actually just watched Bailey's TBR video, like 2 days ago, and she actually picked this book, and when I actually heard her read the synopsis, I'm like, that sounds so good, I'm dying to read this in July, and this one is called The Compound by Aisling Rawle, and this one is, like, getting a lot of hype right now. It's kind of like a summer thriller. I'm going to read the synopsis really quick. It says, you wake up in the compound in the middle of the desert along with 9 other women. All of you are young, all beautiful, all keen to escape the grinding poverty, political unrest, and environmental catastrophe out of the outside world. You realize the cameras are tracking your every move, broadcasting to millions of reality TV fans. So excited for this. Soon, 10 men will arrive on foot if they all survive the journey. What will you have to do to win? And what happens to the losers? Lord of the Flies meets Love Island in this explosive, addictive debut novel, as bingeable as the best reality TV, with dark undercurrents of literary dystopia and consumerate satire. So, 100% reading that book in July. And this book literally just came out like last week. So it came out June 24th. So this is still a June release. But I literally had no idea about it until Felicia told me about it. And she mentioned it, I think the last time, I don't remember. But I literally was like texting her like a couple of days ago. And I said to her, I was like, that Compound book sounds so good. Do you think we could make this our buddy read for July instead? And she was like, sure, I can bump Flawless to later in the year. And I was like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't start series together. We probably should just read standalones. And she was like, sounds good to me. Because I think that's a lot better, because for me, I always blast through series a lot faster, because if I'm obsessed with a series, I'm going to get the audiobook and I'm going to get it in every format possible in order to finish the series as soon as I can. So yeah, so that's going to be our buddy read. And now I'm going to tell you guys how I switched around the prompts a little bit so I could actually use them. So let's get into that. Okay, so hey guys, so I'm back after like a couple days of filming my TBR video, but I was pretty tired that day, so my brain wasn't really working that well. So I'm just going to tell you guys the 2 books that I'm using to fulfill both of these prompts, and this would have just made a lot more sense if I just would have stuck with author everybody loves, because I was thinking about using this author for this prompt, but I had already chosen this book for the free pick book, but I'm just going to choose a different book for the free pick and fulfill this prompt with the one that I said that I thought would work the best with it, and that is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid, because so many people love Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. I love them too, but the only one that I have read is Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, so I've been wanting to read more of her books. And last month, I really got into more general fiction, literary fiction books, because I read like 4 or 5 general fiction books last month, and they were all like 4.5 to 5 stars. I really fell in love with general fiction books last month. So, and like I said, this is on my summer reading list for myself. I would like to make a summer TBR video, but I don't know when the hell I'm going to do that. I also want to do a mid-year check-in where I talk about all the books that I've read so far in the year of 2025. I was about to say the month of 2025. But yeah, I'm just going to use this to fulfill that prompt. And then for the free pick prompt, I'm just going to choose Somewhere in the Deep by Tanvi Barwa, because I wanted to read this in my mood reading vlog that you guys will see soon. But then I ended up reading 2 completely different other books. But I've been wanting to read this book since like the start of May. So I thought I could just use this as the free pick. And that made sense too, because this is a book I've been wanting to read anyway. So then we ended up choosing 6 books for the prompts. Let me just go over them again really quick, because I didn't even feel like going over them at the time because I was getting so frustrated. But let me just go over them really quick. So this TBR was not a complete fail. This TBR video. And then spinner wheel pick, I picked Summer Reading by Jen McKinley, and then YA Mystery, I picked Secrets So Deep by Ginny Myers Sane. Cannot speak. Let me just read the synopsises of these really quick. So Summer Reading. Oh, and also, hold on. And then for Friends recommendation, we picked In 5 Years. And then for Goddess Mythology Fantasy, we picked 3 Shattered Souls by May Corlin. So that's 6 prompts, so I think that is pretty good. I think 6 prompts is all I want to do this month, because like I said, I want to kind of mood read a little bit more this month. So if there's only 6 prompts, I think that's good, because I don't know if I said this when I was filming before, but August I kind of want to do an entire month of mood reading, but I might also do a blind picking my TBR, because I feel like that gives me a chance of like reading some books I wouldn't initially pick up unless I was in the mood for them, and I think that would be more so the books that are on my TBR cart. So I might do a blind picking in August. So let's go over the books that I picked. So again, spinner wheel pick was Summer Reading by Jen McKinley, and it says, I'm not going to read too much of these. I'm just going to read like a little blurb. It says, when a woman who'd rather do anything than read meets a swoon-worthy bookworm, sparks fly, making for one hot summer fling. So I really do want to read this soon, because I'm like itching to read like a summer romance. And it's either, I'm going to read this like the second week of July, because the first one I really want to read this month is Till Summer Do Us Part by Megan Quinn. I just really want to read that book. So, but we're definitely reading this later in the month. And then Secrets So Deep is the YA mystery pick. And it says, this one sounds so intriguing. I'm so excited to read this book. It says, years ago, Avril's mother drowned at Whisper Cove Theater, just off the rocky coastline. It was ruled an accident, but local legend claims that the woman in the waves called her mother into the ocean. While Avril doesn't believe in ghosts, she knows there are plenty of ways for places and people to be haunted. She's tried to make sense of the strange bits and pieces she does remember from the night she lost her mother, stars falling into the sea, a blinding light, a tight grip on her wrist. Now at 17, Avril has returned to Whisper Cove, and as she becomes more involved with the mystery of her mother's death and an alluring young man, Whisper Cove reveals itself to her. Distances seem to shift in the strange fog. Echoes of long past memories bounce off the marsh. Whispers in the mist. The truth Avril seeks is ready, to be discovered, but it will come at a terrible cost. Sounds so good. I'm so excited to read that. And it wasn't that long of a synopsis. That's why I read like the whole thing. And then Somewhere in the Deep, I think I've read this synopsis before, but I'll try and make it a little bit shorter. It says, something lives in the darkness, something with teeth. 17-year-old Crescent Dune is buried under the weight of her dead parents' debt and the ruinous legacy they left behind. The only way she can earn enough money to escape her unforgiving island is by battling monstrous creatures in an underground fighting pit. And that sounds so cool. After a fight goes terribly wrong, she's banned from the pits. Now hopeless, she is offered a deal. In exchange for the erasure of her debts, she must join and protect a hunting party for a rescue mission deep within the mining caves beneath the island. That's all I'm going to read. I'm so excited to read that. And then Carrie Soto is back. So excited to read this too. Just rhymed again. Carrie Soto is fierce, and her determination to win at any cost has not made her popular. But by the time she retires from tennis, she's the best player in the world has ever seen. She's the best player the world has ever seen. She has shattered every record and claimed 20 Grand Slam titles. I'm so excited to read this. Like, tennis is my favorite sport, and the fact that I haven't read any tennis books is kind of a tragedy. And if you ask Carrie, she's entitled to every one. She sacrificed nearly everything to become the best, with her father, Javier, I was about to say Javier, what's wrong with me, as her coach. A former champion himself, Javier has trained her since the age of 2. But 6 years after her retirement, Carrie finds herself sitting in the stands of the 1994 U.S. Open, watching her record be taken from her by a brutal, stunning player named Nikki Chan. Okay, so it forms like a female rivalry, and I'm so excited to read this. It's going to be so much fun. So yeah, finally got the TBR down to books that I'm really excited to read, and these are just the 4 physical books that are going on the TBR along with those 2 that I'm reading on Kindle. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything else for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and also I am already reading A Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir. I finished the second book, I believe, was it that morning that I filmed my TBR video? No, it was the day after. I finished the second book Saturday morning, and then I started this Saturday afternoon. So I'm still, wait, no. I didn't start it Saturday afternoon. I think I started it Sunday afternoon. Yeah. Because this is only like my 3rd day reading this, but it's technically only been 2.5 days because I'm going to finish it today. But absolutely loving this. So that'll definitely be the first book that I'm finishing in July. And then we are going to be going into the 4th and final book, and I'm so excited to read it. So yeah, I'm probably not going to read Air until like later in the month because, like I said, there's some books that I want to read that are like summer books, and like the 2 arcs that I have, I really want to read the arcs before they come out. So besides those, like I said, there's not too many books that I'm like too pressured to get to. And again, there are more new releases this month, but also there's only like a few that I really want to read, which is obviously The one that I'm most excited for is Wrath of the Dragons. I cannot wait for that, but since it doesn't come out until the very end of the month, it gives me a lot of time to read the other books that I really want to read this month. So there's not really that many new releases that are a priority for me besides Made for Each Other and A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. Those are really the only two that I'm like required to read because I want to review them. But Not Quite Dead Yet. I'm really excited for that. I also applied for the ARC for that book, so I'm hoping to get that one too. So if I get that, then obviously that'll move up my priority list as well. But besides that, there's not really any other books that are like super priority besides like The Night Circus, but I wasn't going to read that until like later in the month anyway, probably the same week that I read Air. But yeah, I feel like this is going to be a pretty easy reading month, and I feel like I've been trying to like not overwhelm myself with my TBRs as much as I used to, and I feel like the TBR that I curated last month and this month, it really set me up to have a very successful, enjoyable, fantastic reading month last month. So I think this is going to be the same for this month. Cross our fingers, but most of the authors I have read from before, except for Casey McQuiston and what's the other one? Megan Quinn, which is Till Summer Do Us Part and Red, White, and Royal Blue. But I'm really excited to read both of those books. I think I have both of them on Kindle Unlimited. I think I have Red, White, and Royal Blue on Kindle Unlimited. I'm pretty sure it's still on Kindle Unlimited. How many times can I say Kindle Unlimited? Red, White, and Royal Blue. Yeah. Yeah. I just have to return another book in order to read it because I know I'm 100% reading this. I guess we could return this book for now because I'm not reading it anytime soon because I want Red, White, and Royal Blue, obviously. That's like literally the next book I'm going to read after I finish the Ember and the Ashes series. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at TBW819 and check out my Goodreads in the description box below, and also follow me on TikTok as well. I post a lot of book content over there. Actually, I've been getting quite a lot of views on my last video, and I already have 100 likes on it because I just posted my yes, no, or maybe for my June reading wrap up, and I'm hoping to film my June reading wrap up later today. If not, maybe Thursday, but I feel like if I don't film it today, I'm not going to have any time. I'm definitely not going to have time tomorrow because I have my second Apple interview tomorrow. I'm really excited for that, crossing my fingers. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and keep reading, and let me know what's on your priority TBR this month, or what are you just in the mood to read this month. Are you excited for any summer books coming out? Let me know. Bye.